What's up guys, it's your boy DC Fan 77 here to rant with you about why critics are dumb and can't understand cinematic masterpieces. You know they gave bad scores to Suicide Squad, which was great and everything that I wanted, and it won an Oscar, so that too. Have any Marvel films won any Oscars? I don't think so! And I just want to vent because Wonder Woman's coming out and people probably hate it and... Hello?
DC Fanboy, there's nothing to worry about. Apparently this movie's actually really good. The critics love it, the fans love it, and it's certified fresh on Rotten Tomatoes.
What? They actually think it's good? It's got a 93 on Rotten Tomatoes? That's higher than the Avengers. Are you serious? No, I'm not making a rant video. Okay, bye. What's up guys, I'm jacobtsuggs and I hope that you enjoyed that intro. That was a lot of fun putting together, and I love the DC universe, I love the DC extended universe, but I just can't stand the fanboys that act like they have no problems. I loved Man of Steel, I loved Batman v Superman, I thought Suicide Squad was alright, but I can still resonate and get behind those three movies. And Wonder Woman's coming out, and I'll tell you what, I was nervous about the embargo for reviews for Batman v Superman and Man of Steel and all of those movies, but I don't think I've ever been as worried as when the Wonder Woman embargo was about to drop. First off, I think that DC and Warner Brothers wanted this movie to be a hit. They want to have a critically acclaimed movie that everybody can get behind. And you're not wrong for liking Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, or Suicide Squad. I like those movies personally, but the unfortunate thing is not many people do, and not many people can resonate with those movies and get behind one singular movie in the midst of the start of the cinematic universe. And so they kind of need a jump start to get their cinematic universe going for everybody to really be on board for it. And this is the first female-centered superhero film ever, making it quite the task to pull off something this big. And that's another reason why I really want this movie to be good, because if this movie doesn't succeed, who knows if we'll see another, you know, female-centered superhero movie again. That Captain Marvel film might not happen. And with Justice League coming out, I get why they want to generate hype behind their DC cinematic universe, and I want everybody to get behind a movie, and I love defending the movies I love, and I love Batman v Superman, I love Man of Steel, but I get really tired of defending those movies because there's so much hate aimed at those movies. And so I saw Wonder Woman last night, and the critic reviews on Rotten Tomatoes gave me a ton of hope. And after seeing the movie, I'm going to be honest with you right now. This isn't just a great DC comic book movie. This isn't just a great superhero movie. This is a great movie. Wonder Woman is a legitimately great film, and I'm going to kind of put my bias aside because I am kind of biased towards DC because I grew up with these heroes and characters. So putting that aside, let's talk about why this movie's fantastic. First off, Gal Gadot owns the role as Wonder Woman. There's not a second that I did not see this character as Wonder Woman. And she just does an outstanding job in this movie. I know some people were worried about like her line delivery and her accent, but that never really got in the way. That never really bothered me, and I think that has to do with how the character is treated in the story, how the story is directed, and how the story plays out, and I think that ultimately the characters being great goes into the story. And Chris Pine as Steve Trevor was really fantastic. I went into this movie not expecting to care about him as much as I probably should have, but by the end of the movie I really cared about his character and what was happening to him, and the development that goes on with his character is really, really well done. This movie plays out kind of the same way twice, but in a very good way. What I mean by that is the film starts out with a fish out of water story. Steve Trevor washes up on Themyscira, this island of Amazonian women, including Wonder Woman, and he doesn't know how to react to this island that still uses kind of like medieval technology, and he's just really confused and feels out of place. And then Diana goes with Steve Trevor to London, and she's just completely out of place. She's carrying her shield and sword around, It makes for some really funny moments. And there's a scene where Wonder Woman tries ice cream for the first time, which is A, straight out of the comics, but B, something that I really enjoyed and laughed at. And once again, that's not a bad thing. This film feels like a war film, and it's very grounded in the World War I era. And that's a really interesting time to set a film. It reminds me a lot, and I know other people have said this too, of Captain America: The First Avenger, but in a lot of ways, it reminds me of Thor as well. And I really like how they incorporated the Greek mythology associated with Wonder Woman's character into the historically accurate and mostly well-portrayed version of World War I in this movie. Like using Ares, the god of war, to basically start the First World War is absolutely genius if you're asking me. But regardless, I thought it was really cool and fit really well into the story, and it kind of made the two worlds work well together, even though they're extremely different. And I like how Themyscira is like really bright and colorful in this movie, and London is more just kind of dull and dreary, and they make jokes about that, but like I said, this film needs to feel that way because it is a war film first and foremost. And by the way, colors, they make a difference in film. Let me just tell you that right now. Regardless of what you think of the DCEU films as of late, there are moments that stand out in each film. And I think it's safe to say that. In Man of Steel, it was when Superman flies for the first time. That moment really hits home with a lot of people. It's pretty obvious for Batman v Superman. It's Batman and Superman fighting and the Trinity versus Doomsday. And although Suicide Squad really doesn't have a massive moment, I really like the scene where they're in the bar talking to one another about their feelings. I thought that was a really great scene, and I wish more of that was in Suicide Squad. But by far, and I can't believe I'm about to say this because of the whole Batman-Superman thing, Wonder Woman has the best moment so far I've seen in any DC comic book film as of late. There's a scene where Wonder Woman goes into no man's land, and it's one of the best sequences I've seen on film in a long time. It's a very emotional and powerful scene. And the more I think about it, the more it just sticks with me and the more meaningful it becomes. The action is shot really well. Patty Jenkins did a great job directing this movie. And they do use slow motion in this movie for some fight scenes, maybe a little bit too much, but I still don't think that changes the fact that the action is really well shot. And even then, aside from the no man's land scene, the little scenes in this movie too, they really leave an impact on you. One of my favorite scenes in the movie is when Steve Trevor teaches Diana how to dance. That's a great scene. But in short, I thought that Wonder Woman was such a great film. This movie was just so good. And although Hans Zimmer didn't do the score, you've still got that love it or hate it Wonder Woman theme song with the electric guitar and the cello. But you've also got really cool iterations of that, and when I came home last night after seeing the film, I started listening to the soundtrack, and it was actually really well done. My only gripe with this movie is that the villains did come off a bit cheesy at times and a bit cliche at times, but I was still threatened by them. And some of the CGI and special effects are a little bit subpar, but not enough to where I can say this movie sucks because it has bad effects. The effects in this movie, for the most part, are pretty good, but there are a few times to where I caught myself saying, that's not there, that's not real. But if that's my biggest gripe with a movie called Wonder Woman setting up the character of Wonder Woman, then who cares? If I had to give this movie a rating, I would probably give it like a 9.5. I'm not going to say that it's a masterpiece or anything, but I think this is a very groundbreaking film and definitely a game changer for the superhero genre. And I'm really glad that everybody's kind of coming behind this movie and going, yeah, that was a pretty good movie. And it makes me happy as a DC fan to see that, because that's what I've wanted to see ever since they announced this DC cinematic universe. And I'm really glad that people can actually agree on one movie now. So what did you think of Wonder Woman? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Let me know down in the comments below. And as always, I'm FrameByFrame. Remember the name. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.